I think a social entrepreneur is a pioneer. A social entrepreneur is a leader. A social entrepreneur is a person with a vision.
It's a crazy person. No, seriously. A social entrepreneur, I think, has got a bit of insanity in him because you got this idea and you can make so much money if you just utilize it for yourself. Instead, you've got a moral conscience which overrides your entrepreneurial business person personality, even though you sometimes shoot yourself financially in the foot.
We need to shift some of our attention from the business as usual model. We need to use our entrepreneurial skills and capacities in innovative ways to direct these resources and creativity and skills into addressing some of these deeper social and environmental challenges.
It's a person who helps other people to make their business successful.
Okay, it is a new phrase, it is a new hot number. It's just a fancy word for a chief negotiator. You must at all times be able to be a tinkler, a beggar, every name in the book to get what it is that you want.
It's about we getting to know each other, I getting to know your organization. We're looking at whether there are opportunities for the organizations to share information, if it is possible, whether there can be some partnerships or some collaborations either among one or two or any of the organizations.
Ashoka supports social entrepreneurs in that we identify them at a stage when they are still starting off. We try to identify them in what we call the launch stage. That is a stage where they probably still have a full-time job, but they're doing this on the side and they're trying to get going. And we try to take them so that they can quit their job and start working on their project full-time. And in order to facilitate that, Ashoka gives them a living stipend, it's like venture capital, for a period of 3 years.
What that does is help them to focus on their program full-time. They don't have to worry about bringing bread into the home. We have a kind of 5 criterion. First of all, there's a knockout thing, which is the new idea. A person has to come up with a new idea, not just replicate what already exists. Or even if it's not a brand new idea, but the way they apply it to the Southern African context, the slant that they take makes it different and new, then we also consider that.
Southern Africa has 85 Ashoka Fellows at the moment. 68 of them are based in South Africa. In Southern Africa, we have many fellows that work in economic development. Economic development being one of the key things that we need is job creation, creating welfare for people at the bottom of the pyramid.
In fact, I can say this award is the most prestigious award of them all. And thus Mandla, as the director of this project, and Somo as an organization, become one of the 1,700 members of Ashoka Global.
Well, I must say that I was very excited when I got the call that I'm elected as an Ashoka Fellow. First thing that excited me was that, wow, I'm going to become a member of this huge family of social entrepreneurs in the world. I was going to be part of this huge family of social change makers in the world.
Somo born out of Amanda Waste Creation, a community project that was operating out of the backyard of the director and founder of this project. There was a pile of rubbish here, there was a pile of rock. This mountain, back in 70s, 60s, it had bad element on it. People got raped, murdered, and mugged.
I am the founder and the director of the Soweto Mountain of Hope, which in brief is called SOMOHO. Somoho is trying to address the problem of poverty, the problem of crime, the problem of joblessness, as well as the problem of pollution in the community of Soweto. We use market-based solutions to scale up these programs so that they are income generating and they are also entrepreneurial opportunities, and they also are of poverty alleviation. They learn on how to make art out of waste, they learn on how to play those marimbas and djembes, and then they go back, they have learned, and they are very proud to realize also that there are initiatives in their own communities that are started by ordinary young people. Somoho uses all these sectors: culture, arts, environment, technology, sports, as well as tourism, to address social issues in the community.
Yes, where we are right now, we call it Top of Soweto. From being a water tank and a lookout to apartheid forces, meaning the former South African National Defence Force, they used to come here to see how people live. But now it is a unique home to approach for community work and tourism.
Have they, throughout their lives, shown some kind of entrepreneurship? Have they started things at different times, different things at school? Have they challenged ways of doing things and come up with new ways of doing things?
You government have the resources, have the facility, have the expertise. So I'm stronger in the community where the need lies. I will mobilize young people, I will mobilize women, and then bring you in for you to come train them.
As you can see my card here, I was from the workshop, right? It was one of the main points to say how are going to manage the environment concerning the 2010 World Cup.
And then they come back, they have that information, they can manage their own departments and their own businesses. We can bet right now, you'll never find even a single child standing at a corner. Know why? Those that are interested in soccer have gone to soccer. Those are in culture have gone to performing arts. Parents are happy because they know exactly, whilst we are at work, at 3 o'clock my child is at a football field. Made out of waste. There are times when you throw them into the field. 11 this side, 11 that side. And you play. No referee, nothing. And then we just watching as elders and watching for whatever conflict that will happen. And we watch and listen how they are going to solve that conflict. And if there's somewhere where they are bending off the line, that's when we intervene. We say, no, Fana, that's not the right way to talk to people. Isn't he your brother? He's your brother, you're working in the same team. All right? There's no need for you to use vulgar. Then he says, sorry, coach.
We have a program called CBI. CBI is a citizen-based initiative within Ashoka. And what that does is not only work with fellows, but work with any other citizen-based organization to make sure that they are sustainable.
Okay, but now, listen to me. D. Now you come to me, you say, what you doing? I'm saying, oh, I'm singing. You see? Upon a question, an answer to a question, she can't say, I am singing. It's not wrong.
We started with nothing in 2002. We had nothing. And I had to find a way for Papillon to exist through self-generation. In projects that we could generate our own funding. Now, being in a poor area, you can't charge Wits University prices. This is the new ICDL project, International Computer Driver's License Project. I run the Papillon Foundation in the south of Johannesburg, in the older southern suburbs that were established during the gold rush in the early years and that has since become derelict. We started a host of projects, empowerment projects in a network with several universities, whereby we try to create a long-term future, upliftment future for the people in the area. Due to a lack of funding for college and university fees, there's no tuition or no long-term quality empowerment projects running in the area. We also work with refugees from several countries, and in order to prevent them from becoming a drain on the economy, we run English classes as secondary languages. What we do is we go to the university and we beg them for their courses, which we then tailor and bring to our local communities to match the needs of our local communities. We have computer lessons, IT lessons, computer literacy. Not just a case of teaching, but to monitor the outcomes. We have exams. If they pass the exams, they receive university certificates stating that they are proficient in whatever project we present at the time. We also have short business courses where we teach the people how to manage small businesses, how to open up their own small businesses and how to run them effectively. Then we also have a waiter training project where with the focus is on the 2010 World Cup that South Africa will be hosting. And we do the waiter training course in conjunction with computer basic training in order not only to qualify the unemployed as waiters, but also to give them business skills and enable them as entrepreneurs to kick off their own businesses. And on the other hand, it serves also to maybe as an inspiration tool for these people that come to eat there. For that man to walk in there, get served properly, have a decent meal, and thinking, listen, what can I do to change my life? What can I do to have a service like this every day of my life? I need to stop drinking and go and work. And also, again, the waiters that work with these very poor people, when they serve them, they also come into contact with the poor side. And this also awakens their hearts in giving and thinking and sharing and that kind of stuff. So it's each project is interrelated with the people. It's focused upon the people, not focused upon money, not focused upon finances, focused solely upon improvement. We average per year about 1,500 students. But again, it's to offer them the professional help that they need. And it's long-lasting help, not little short headache courses, because so many of these souls that claim to be upliftment work claim for projects that does not even exist. This is why we've had to become so accountable.
Usually people that would start things for the good of others also have an ethical fiber.
We are now on our way to one of our projects, which is a daycare center. The head of the creche looks after the kids on a daily basis. She feeds them and they educate them and that sort of stuff. And Papillon supports them in the feeding requirements. As you can see from the outside, it looks like nothing. You can't expect to have the people's respect if you live in Sandton and you come and run little upliftment projects here, because people are very aware and they will know if you are trying to help them or not. And that's why we've decided to live right in amongst them. People don't come and establish businesses here. You have a couple of minor ones, but the crime rate is extremely high. We're using second-hand material to build toilets, but again, it serves a purpose. The problem that we find is all the money and all the focus at the moment is in the townships. Okay, no one's thinking about the pensioners. No one's thinking about the class that's just below the middle class that are living in the suburbs. And this is why the suburbs are in such a terrible state, because no one's focusing on the suburbs. And that's where we come in and we specialize in that niche market, only in the suburbs. And they have them not only in Joburg, it's in Cape Town. We've had requests to work in Durban. We've had requests to work in Pretoria. Our projects can be replicated. And that's where the Ashoka interest comes. They want to see if they can take our projects and give it out to other NGOs to replicate.
The hardest part of being a social entrepreneur is the fact that you are blazing a trail and that others don't understand you. Others don't see the need because you're probably a few years ahead from everybody else and they just don't know what you're on about. And it's a lonely thing. Very few people understand what you're doing, few people support you in what you're doing. You don't get a lot of money. Most of our fellows, you will find, has had a hard upbringing, or they had some trauma, some difficulty in their lives that gave them the tenacity and the vision to go on with this thing.
I don't have anything. I don't have anybody next to me. I depend on myself. So I don't have any money so that I can buy something to eat. So can you find me a job, or can I work with you if you can? I said yes. He gave me his number and direction to Silverton.
Douglas Rasionza, he works in a township of Mamelodi, just north of Pretoria, and we have little shops, little corner shops that we call spaza shops. And he works with the owners of the spaza shops to help them to become economically viable.
We used to deliver the stock to their shops. We gave others a tin house so that they can start the business, and we also buy them the stock to start.
The person has to, obviously, to come up with a new idea, you have to be creative. They should have a vision, they should be visionaries, they should be goal-setting kind of people.
Douglas told me that, can we try to build a fridge? And say, yes, we can. And we start buying, search for how they build a fridge, what material did they use to build a fridge. We started buying the 44-gallon drums. You see the drums. So Douglas told me that, what if we start with the drums, a fridge drum? So I say, okay, now we can start with it. And we take one drum, stand up, and we cut it half on the side. And we put another one flat like this. And we use a solder, we weld it. Then we open on the front of the top one for a glass, so that people may see inside the fridge. And many people were looking for it to buy. But we decided to give to the spaza shop owners so that they may use it, because the others, they were not getting the Coca-Cola fridges. There were problem of a maybe at Coca-Cola. So they just came with the fridge and put the store. And next time, they can't remember where it is. They've lost many fridges because of maybe. To find a tech shop inside the squatter camp is very difficult, unless if you have a map. Even if they didn't write anything on the outside to show that there's a spaza shop, with a map I can see.
Our job is not to give people fish, it's not to teach them how to fish, it's to build a new and better fishing industry.
Sarah Late is a very interesting person. The fishery industry in South Africa is very male-dominated, but she taught women to fish, and she got skippers that were prepared to take women out on fishing trips, which they were not keen to do before. And she's taught them to be economically viable. Many of the fishermen die, and then the women don't have any income, and she facilitates that for them.
I was nominated a fellow in 2003. We started looking at what are the problems surrounding the fishing industry and how we could assist the women to be able to enter the fishing industry. Previously, lots of women didn't, although their husbands and their sons were fishermen, they didn't understand how the fishing industry worked. The other companies, the male-dominated companies, just wanted women on board so that they could say, oh, they've got women with them. But they weren't going to actually train women to become skippers or train them to actually go out to sea or do anything. Our approach was women should go out to sea themselves and do their own work. besides the bias from the men, there was also a bias from the department, although they said that they wanted women in the industry as such. They weren't really going down to grassroots level and bringing women on board into the industry. We looked at this and we formed the South African Fishermen's Association, whereby we then now assisted the ladies by helping them to apply for quotas, fishing quotas. It was then known as subsistence fishing rights. While we know that we only have a seasonal catch, which is rock lobster, which runs from November through to June, we have off-season programs where we teach our ladies nets and crafts, other types of crafts. We got women doing gardening projects, net making, where we teach our ladies how to make the nets that they catch the fish with.
The idea has to have social impact. Unlike the business entrepreneur who will make money and generally use that money for themselves, or the basis of it is actually what he decides. For us, our entrepreneur has to have social impact. So the idea should be solving a problem within a community.
Yeah, it's been adopted by many women around the coast. Many women have gone into the industry. Also, our training techniques was adopted by the TETA, which is the Transport Education Authority for South Africa. It's now a prerequisite for all fishermen to do that. Some of our ladies didn't have furniture and things like that. So the first year was quite hectic because they bought from everything in the house. From there we manage and try and tell them, we get the banks in, we get the insurance companies in to let them know that there is something like a tomorrow and you have to look after your future and that of your kids, because some of the women never ever earned more than 20 Rand a day, and all of a sudden they'll be earning something like plus minus 2,000 Rand a month. Instead of paying out all the money one time, we would pay over a monthly period, so then women would be able to manage their money over a monthly period. The economic empowerment brought an empowerment of self also, because we've got women that went ahead. They used to stay by their family in a shack at the back, or they used to stay in a room with a family. They now have their own plot and their own house. So that to me is success stories. There's a lot of social problems that becomes part of the problem that you also have to address if you want to do economic empowerment.
I was invited into the Ashoka Fellowship and received the support and guidance in many ways from an organization that is focused on this field of social entrepreneurship.
The name Ashoka, the brand, opens quite a few doors for a fellow. If someone goes and you say, I'm an Ashoka fellow, people say, oh, that's wonderful, and you do get more opportunities just by virtue of being a fellow.
My organization is the Tlolejo Development Project, which is situated outside of Rustenburg in the Northwest Province. The main work that I've been looking at is around rural economies, rural livelihoods, and the sustainability question, how to build sustainability into rural livelihood models. The eco-village concept in itself has its own challenges. I think what I'm certainly becoming aware of after spending 15 years working with the sort of external ideas around sustainability, which would be ecological design, in terms of infrastructure, energy efficiency, managing water systems, food production, local food production, waste recycling, all the sort of common typical challenges that we face. I think what is more challenging, but of real significance, is the internal stages of development that human beings go through. Generally, they are stages of development that we grow through. So if people are emerging from a traditional pattern into a modern context of development, which is where a lot of the development world is, and a lot of the drive in terms of macroeconomic thinking is to bring people into the economy, grow the economy, and give people who haven't had opportunity to benefit the opportunity to benefit, which makes a lot of sense, and of course that's a key factor. The challenges is how to do that in such a way that we don't increase the ecological footprint in terms of our consumption capacities and actually hasten our journey into unsustainability even faster. So what I'm trying to do in some ways within the Tlolego model is to work with the traditional patterns of development, people who still have some of those values intact, and really to strengthen that by underpinning it with a lot of good self-reliance. These are possibilities for alternative ways of looking at economics, but there is value in a sense of people living in a low ecological footprint. How do we increase the value of people's lives? Not only people who are, in a traditional sense, called poor. I think there's a wide open opportunity, especially in rural areas, where the opportunity to create lifestyles, livelihoods that have high quality and a low footprint, and actually sort of quantify that in economic terms. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this area. Surely these greater environmental social challenges that we're facing in the planet today are immense. They're huge. They're overwhelming. The social entrepreneurial vision, the social entrepreneurial leadership is giving us new ways to look at how and what business even is about.
Do you all know what CSR stands for? Corporate Social Investment. It's not a charity shop. It's about a youth-friendly walk-in centre where you can come and find out the next steps of starting your business. We've got quite a few entrepreneurs who live on the streets and don't have a place to operate. And so we wanted to create a one-stop shop where they could literally come and get all their services at the same time.
We have service providers co-located in the same building. So basically the business place is like a one-stop entrepreneurial hub.
They have put us in this building with an initiative of growing us and developing us. And they have all the contacts for whatever you might need.
I came to the business place not knowing anything about business, but having an idea, a dream. It was like basically a dream because I didn't know where to start, where to go. What I found is a lot of people are always depending on handouts. That is why a lot of people don't have courage to start their own businesses.
We want to be spoon-fed, which is unfair. There's opportunities all over the country.
Government is funding, is giving money to give to small entrepreneurs, very, very micro. They call us micro. You see, so it's the mentality of handouts. It really got us. When you tell people that you have to stand for yourself and try and do something on your own, not wait for someone. Opportunities are endless in South Africa.
We actually want to bridge, as you were saying, bridge a gap, between the rich and the poor. The whole universe needs to do that. If we don't do that as a global community, I think we're doomed. So in order to do that, we have to have one ground so people can come and dwell in, like we had one well to come and drink from, you know what I mean?
You find entrepreneurs sitting here and they're chatting and they're making deals.
People need to not strive to be shareholders anymore. People need to be stakeholders. And let's work together and redefine this new economy,
We don't need something that's okay. I know these will sell before 2010, so I'm gonna make thousands of these. You know what I mean? And after that, I'm gonna try to do something else. No, it's not about that. It's about sustaining the development of the country, really, for the continent of Africa. Which is why I'm glad the business place is what it's about, and we're doing this from their premises. Thank you very much. I think this 2010 thing really. It is bringing us a lot of opportunities, you know what I mean, of which is something we didn't have.
How can
back
people
then.
tap into that?
Then how can people tap into that? Craft is the way.
Craft is the way.
Is the way.
Because if you have a skill, you can be displaced in any jungle and make your own bed. You can build your own bed. You just look outside and you see, oh, trees.
We've got a guy who makes briefcases and suitcases out of, I don't think about what the material is.
It's a solid combination of wood, pine, plywood, and Meranti.
We use high to finish and solid brass reinforcements at least 100 points. Yeah? Acetate to give it skin, to ensure that it's waterproof. Yeah? Felts, compressed cotton as a base for cushioning, the soft leather interior. Yeah? Hercian for that elegant, appeal, so that it appeals to, because this is targeting your corporate environment, which currently is very static and it needs to evolve. We have a solution. This is something that becomes part of your family, essentially, And this piece's name's Bonela, this one's named Kitty, because they're all finished and rather born at different dates, and they all have their own lives, their own missions, their own characters, because they're all different, yeah? Their works don't have to be confined to the walls of galleries or offices, See, now they can have their works in motion, yeah? By painting on the chest and the back, yeah? So you'll have, jumping off a bus. In the backpack, you have a painting, a fine artwork of So essentially, we're trying to, grow a forest. Yeah? They say Joburg is the biggest man-made forest in the world, right? So we aspire to, to ensure continuity on that level, by growing this forest. You know what I mean?
There's doom and gloom. There's no hope. All you hear is the bad stuff about unemployment, about crime, about all sorts of things. And I think that actually there's a shitload happening in South Africa, and it's bloody lekker.
The entire trick is to make these people independent, to empower these people in such a way that they can clothe and feed themselves and their families. Instead of you being seen as the great benefactor coming along with your thousands of dollars and buying these people food and clothing, and they become dependent upon you, and then where does that money go? For what purpose was that money spent? It goes down the drain.
When we receive with the right hand, we must also give with the left hand. We can only do that by really grounding ourselves in our communities and stop looking from outside for help. We need community. We need business. We need government. And it is only through that integrated collaboration that we can really solve the challenges that are facing not only South Africa, but the rest of Africa.
I'll go and shoot. Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Goodbye.
And just wave. Say bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, Sithombe. Bye-bye.
Okay.